You think she's a good girl, but once you get to know her, you realize she's everything. She's crazy, she's funny, she's honest, and you'll never know what she'll do next.
Thank you for coming back. I'm so excited. Today I get to interview. My name is Tracy Pate. This is the Being Tracy Show podcast. And today I'm honored to be able to interview my new producer. This is James Henderson. James, say hello.
Hello.
People out there.
How's everybody doing?
Now, James, first of all, we need to start out with, how do I know you? How do we know each other, James?
Never seen you before.
What do we have in common here? I mean, like all of a sudden, everybody, when I came to Naples, I wasn't sure if I was going to continue with the Being Tracy Show podcast. And then all the people here that have been following my podcast were like, oh, you've got to meet James. You've got to meet James. And so then we were finally introduced to each other. And James said, well, I've got all the production equipment right here. I'm just waiting for a reason to use it, right, James?
Yeah, I needed an excuse to launch my own podcast, which we'll talk a little bit about today, or at least we'll talk about the premise.
Oh, good.
For that podcast
I'm excited. Today. Good. Okay. Well, and then the topic that James picked for today is hospitality revival, bringing civility back to the daily dialogue. James, how did you choose that topic?
Well, here's what I'll say. I've been in hospitality my entire life. My degree's in broadcasting, but I started working in restaurants. Next thing you know, I'm managing restaurants. Next thing you know, I'm running restaurants. Next thing you know, I'm owning restaurants. And
that's ironic because that's what my ex-husband
did.
We had a restaurant together.
I know, great steaks.
Yeah, Cloyd Steak and Lobster. If you remember it here in Naples.
But no. So I've spent my entire life in hospitality, and when it's a little different because when you're in the hospitality business, you have to plan to make sure that all your people are hospitable. You have to plan to make sure that your people know how to treat other people.
And how do you do that? How do you do that?
Oh, that's like 6 episodes of a podcast right there. But the thing about it is I did a lot of training, and here's what I will tell you. I'll give you this nugget. Any restaurant or hotel or any place that you come to that spends their time trying to service you is looking at it in the wrong way. If you have a culture of hospitality where everyone who walks in your door, it doesn't matter whether it's a purveyor, it doesn't matter whether it's a customer, it doesn't matter whether somebody who's lost and who's trying to find the I don't know, another restaurant down the street, the way you treat them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're really going to be known by.
Okay.
That's how you're really going to be remembered. And that's why people continue to come back to your place as opposed to other places, because they can feel whether their service is just, they're trying to execute it, or they can feel when you walk in when you walk in the door, you're home.
Yeah. That's the way people want to feel, right? They want to be comfortable when they walk
Absolutely.
in.
But the second part of that is that starts with the leadership of the organization, the managers on the ground, all those people. They have to realize that we're here to facilitate, to make sure that my people get what they need so that they can give all our customers and our guests and our friends or whoever comes by, that they are getting what they need. So it's about building an entire culture of hospitality that's not just individual points of service, but it's how you perpetuate that. Now, for my podcast, when we start talking about that, I've been going through a lot lately, and so I see people's interactions, and I'd like to cleave toward people who make you happy, who make you feel good, who make you feel good about yourself, who make you feel good about where you are in life and what's happening.
Right.
Because right now, I don't watch the news. I don't care what end you have. I don't care what end you have. I don't watch it. I don't read the newspaper. I don't, because too often, everything that you hear is negative. And not just is it negative, it's negative about someone else.
Yeah.
And it's often someone talking negative about someone that they don't know.
Exactly.
You've seen them on TV, maybe. You don't know them. You may have run across them. You may have seen that they were in a certain club but you don't know them.
Right.
You don't know their heart, right? So the way that we get better at getting away from the negativity is to look for real interactions with people, as opposed to everyone has a label.
Right.
Everyone has a label now. Some people want to be in that.
Right.
I don't really want to be in that. You asked me about my label today. You said, well, do you want me to call you that label? No, I don't want you to call me that label.
Well, James is also the assistant pastor at my church. That's how we originally came into contact with each other, because everyone at this church office knows me from when I was here before. And like my sister-in-law is working here now, my ex-sister-in-law, my Pastor Gene, who you just saw last week or the week before on our podcast. And now here's assistant pastor James.
Actually, my title is lead pastor, but that's okay.
Lead pastor. Okay.
That's okay.
Well, yeah, he's amazing. And the more I learn about him, the more I just think I'm really impressed. So I was so excited to get him in front of you today, because also James used to be the president of, I just went to this meeting last week for the Speakers Association, the National Speakers Association. So I knew he would have a lot of information and have a great way of sharing it with you.
Well, thank you. It was fun. It was fun to have you.
We had an awesome time.
Now you have an idea of what our tribe is like.
Yeah.
And just to use that as an example, you came over and I purposely didn't spend much time with you. I kind of let you go and wound you up and let you go and did your thing. And I went and hung out with my buddies and friends. But we have a tribe that is, everyone's about giving. Everyone's about just reaching out and talking and who are you? Here's a new person. Who are you? And the thing about it is every person in that tribe is all about giving. I mean, we've got a couple of Hall of Fame speakers. We've got a number of CSPs, or Certified Speaking Professionals, which is the highest earned honor that you can get as a speaker. But we have it all across the board. But when you come to one of our meetings, you don't know who is a Hall of Fame speaker and who is not. Everyone's just there trying to share and try to give.
Great people.
And so to take that to kind of the other level, and this is kind of this is not kind of my passion. It is my passion. My dad was that way. My mom was that way. My sister's that way. My whole family is that way. My brother could run for the mayor in Cincinnati or any other town he's ever lived in, because they're just that way. And so I believe that we're better. Let me back up for a second. I don't think that what I do and what we're going to do on our podcast is going to change the world, right? But our goal is to change the people that God puts in our life and puts around us.
In the path.
If we can do that, if we can help change the attitudes, if we can help change the perceptions, if we can help change some of this negativity of just the people around us, then we've done our part, right? We don't need to change the world. Some people are ordained to change the world. That's probably not my ordination. My ordination is to be around people, find out who they are, find out what they need, and see how I can use my skills, my influences, my contacts, to help them. And there used to be a song. I'm from an old Baptist church, and we'd sing a song. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living will not be in vain. And that's just kind of the way I try to live my life. And that's the kind of people that I like to be around, and I like to spend my time around. And it's like your podcast. A lot of the guests that you have that same kind of glow that they want to change. They want to change the landscape.
Yeah.
They want to change the landscape. And that's what I want to do.
Or just to do what we can to make it better, right?
Do what we can to make it better.
Make people think before they react to people, the way other people are, that are perceived and the way they perceive their life.
Exactly. And to be an example. I mean, that's the key.
And that's the biggest thing.
Because, we say all the time, most people would rather see a sermon than hear one.
Right.
Right. So try to be an example. And so, what I want to do with my podcast when we get started is I'm going to have people who are in communities, doing things that don't get applauded, right? They're not asking for somebody to pat them on the back, but they're doing things in their communities that are making a difference in people's lives. Right? And sometimes, I don't know what it is now, but sometimes people are like, why are you doing that? Well, you don't have to do that. People do it because their heart tells them to do it.
Right.
And I want to expose those people. I want to be able to talk to those people and let people know that there's somebody in your neighborhood who every day is doing something to make a difference in somebody else's life. And they don't have a big sign and they don't have a bells and whistles, right? They don't care whether you know, because they're not doing it because you see them. Mm-hmm. They're doing it because it's where their heart is and where their heart leads them, what their heart leads them to do. And so, I want to talk to people, and I'm going to talk to people from all kinds of communities, from here to Kentucky, maybe as far as Maine. So I've got a big neighborhood.
Well, what is inspiring you to have this new podcast, and what is inspiring you to change the way people think and what they do?
Well, I guess the reality is I'm not inspired to change the way people think and do things. I'm inspired to be a positive message.
Right.
I'm inspired to be a positive message. Because I believe that all the wonderful things that we do for each other outweigh all the stuff that goes on the papers and is on the internet. It outweighs that by 100. But we don't talk about that.
Right.
We don't talk about that. We talk about the stuff that makes us angry. I want us to talk about the stuff that makes us feel good and gives us hope in humanity, because there's walking pieces of hope in every single neighborhood in this country. There are walking pieces of hope, and you don't know them. They may look like they're homeless. They don't have to look like they're doing something, but there are people. I mean, I have friends in this community who are doing amazing things, but you don't know it because they won't tell you.
Right.
They won't tell you because they don't want to tell you. But if we can highlight those people who are doing things in the community, we can give people an opportunity to say, listen, I never thought of that, but that sounds really good. I'd like to get involved in that, right? Or B, they may say, well, if they can do that, I have this skill, I might be able to do that. So if we're highlighting, I was at I had the honor of doing the invocation yesterday at the city council, and the Naples Police Department has a thing they call "Do the Right Thing," and so they have kids in school or whatever, and when they see them do the right thing, they honor them for doing the right thing. So the kid comes in, he's got like 9 siblings and parents and aunts and uncles, and they're all there to celebrate a kid. Now, it was a great story. The kid, they were at a pool, and at the pool there was a hot tub, and he's only 6. The kid's only 6. And so they were at the hot tub, and there was another kid that was 3 that made his way over to the hot tub and fell in the hot tub. And the 6-year-old got in the hot tub, lifted him up, held him up, and then pulled him out of the hot tub as the parents and everybody got over there. Yeah. It's a great story. It's a wonderful story.
Yeah.
And the Naples Police Department is honoring that and putting a spotlight on that so that other kids can see you can do great things just by being who you are.
Exactly. Just
by being who you are. We don't need to change who we are. We don't need to be something different. God's given us many gifts. On the podcast that you did with Gene, Gene talked about that. He's given us all gifts, right? So if we use our gifts to help make the people around us better, I think that's a better way to live than just always focusing on what's wrong.
Yeah.
Because I can find some stuff that's wrong, but I don't want to focus on it.
Right. I agree.
I want to focus on the people that make my heart sing.
Exactly.
And hopefully we all can be people who make other people's hearts sing.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we're a chorus.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't know. I just have fun serving people. I have fun celebrating people. I have fun seeing great stories and meeting great people and getting involved in people that are doing great stuff. So that's kind of it's not really my inspiration for it, but it's just kind of an evolution into it, more than anything.
All right, great. And so you are going to get this message out in a podcast. Is that correct?
That's correct. I'll probably do some speaking as well. When I transition it over into the speaking piece, it probably will be more of a in a ministry fashion. I'll move that around because I believe that sometimes us people in church can treat people better too.
Sure. Well, it's all by example, like you said.
I think we can treat people better. Many people say that that they're religious. Most people now, for the first time ever in the United States, more than 50% of the people say that they don't go to church. They don't go to church because they're not religious. They don't go to church because they feel that the people in church turn them off. And that's quite a shame.
Or they may feel like they're being judged.
They feel like they're being judged and that sort of thing, or they're not accepted and that sort of thing. So that's why in our church, we always talk about everyone's welcome.
We're talking about Celebration
Everyone's
Beach
welcome.
Church here in Naples, Florida. It got too big to meet on the beach, so we had to move it to Cambier Park. And how many years have you been here in Naples, James?
I've been in Naples for 25 years.
Did you immediately join the church when you moved here?
I didn't.
Is that why you came?
I didn't. I was belonged to another church before that, but I've been at Celebration now going on 20 years. So I've been a part of that ministry now for 20 years.
See, that's how long I've been gone. So you must have just got here when I left.
Yep. The first day I was there, I was on stage playing the drums and been there ever since.
That's awesome.
So I am around lots of people who are energetic. And lots of people who are uplifting and upbeat. And I had an opportunity last Monday to go and bless one of the houses for a transitional house for the shelter for women and children. So I've been able to get involved in that. And the ladies who are working over there and volunteering and doing their thing, they're so inspiring and they're so amazing. And the hard work and the heart that they put into everything. That unfortunately, that's one of those that you can't really highlight in certain ways, right. But you can highlight the people who are just behind the scenes, volunteering, making themselves available to help change someone else's life, and I love that. I love that.
Well, what I think is important, James, is to remember that everyone thinks they're doing the right thing. I mean, no one out there. Do you think anyone out there thinks they're doing the wrong thing? Do you think there's really evil people out there? Do you really think there's people out there thinking, I'm going to do this, that's really going to screw them up? Do you think there are people out there like that?
Yeah.
You do?
I know some.
Okay. Well, so what I've learned is when you run across maybe someone like that you perceive to be like that, just wait. Take a minute, listen to what they say, watch what they do. Just take a minute before you react. Don't you think that's
absolutely, absolutely. There's a bandwagon effect. If someone else says something about someone else, and you're closer to that person who started it, then I jump on the bandwagon. And the next thing you know, I'm telling somebody else. And then they jump on the bandwagon.
And the next thing it worse.
The next thing you know, it's worse. And no one knows the real answer behind it. Now, do I know some people who like that? Then they'll tell you that. I know some people who will tell you that. But what I will say is they will be able to give you a reason why they're that way. Mm-hmm. Something happened in their life.
Right.
Something devastated them, or something changed their view, or they had to go it on their own, or whatever it is. Everyone has a story.
Right.
Everyone has a story. And unfortunately, we've started to only listen to the stories of people just like us. Mm-hmm. Right? I want to hear everyone's story. And I'm blessed to be able to do that. I'm blessed to be able to sow into people's lives and to hear their stories. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's amazing how it's amazing how amazing the people around us are.
Yeah.
We have a number of homeless people that come to. They're there on Sunday mornings. There's a homeless guy that comes around who literally was a rocket scientist.
Wow.
He was literally a rocket scientist. I looked it up.
You're like, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. I
looked it up.
No, I looked it up. But he had some issues.
Sure.
And we can't. We shouldn't. I should say we can, and we often do. We shouldn't.
That's the easy way.
Yeah.
The easy way is to get mad. The easy way is to think, look what he did to me. Listen to what he did to me. Tell everybody about it. The harder way is to be quiet, take a minute, think about maybe what he's going through or what he has gone through. That's the harder way.
Yeah, and maybe
that's when you come from love.
Yeah, maybe the second hardest way is most of us listen to respond. We don't listen to understand.
Right.
It takes some effort to listen to understand, because we come into every interaction with our own preconceived notions and thoughts. And if we don't say, listen, I'm going to find out what this person's story is. So I'm going to put my ego in my back pocket and I'm going to listen and just listen. And God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. I think that's pretty clear indication that we should learn to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And listening between the lines. Sometimes we have to listen between the lines, just like we have to read between the lines.
Right.
So we can really hear people as opposed to just kind of brushing them off. And I love people that are like that. I had someone, I'm going through some stuff right now. I had someone yesterday say, listen, man, he said, I know I talk a lot, but man, I can just listen.
Mm-hmm.
If you call me, I'm there just to listen. And it was wonderful to have that person just come to me and say, listen, man, I'm there just to listen. And
sometimes that's all people want.
Yep.
It's just to be heard.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And so, the more we can make people feel like they're important and feel like they're part of, right? The more we can do that, I think the better off we are.
People remember how you made them feel, not what you said so often, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And the beauty of it is it's really not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not that hard, but you have to be intentional.
Right. And
that's the problem. Sometimes we get into just our mode and we're not really intentional about what we're doing. But when we have interactions every week, I have an opportunity where I try to be very, very intentional about being in front of people and giving them an opportunity to say, hey, or hi, or giving them an opportunity to say, hey, listen, I'm not doing so well, or giving them an opportunity, but to be intentional about that in our lives. And I don't mean to be Pollyanna about the whole thing, but really, we probably need to do that better in our family. Mm-hmm. Inside our own 4 walls. Yeah. Right? Be intentional about.
Sometimes that's the hardest people to be nice to, is the ones that are closest to you. Because they know everything about you, right?
It starts at home. It's building that culture, right? My son's a really nice kid. You haven't met him, but my son's a really nice kid. And I think it's because his mom and his dad I think we're pretty nice people. So, it starts there, and then
it's learned too. People and kids learn from what they see. They learn from seeing parents, how they interact with each other, whether they respect each other or not. That's going to matter.
Right. Absolutely.
When a boy grows up, how is he going to treat women? If he sees his father respecting his mother, well, that's going to probably rub off on him, don't you think?
It does. And it does have a lot to do with what we see. And his mother and I are no longer married. We're both married to other people. But
are you nice to each other?
Well, I just went to her wedding.
See,
I get invited to my ex-wife's wedding.
Yes. Primarily,
well, my ex-wife and I are friends. She calls me all the time. But primarily because my ex-mother-in-law, now see, you're a good guy. When your ex-mother-in-law calls her daughter and says, you better make sure that James is at your wedding because I need to see him.
That's wonderful.
So
it's the same way with me and Eric, my daughter's father. We celebrate holidays. And recently my girls are like, oh no, Mom, since I came back to Naples, no, we're not going to celebrate Easter, Mom. We don't do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We don't do that. Yes, we do. We celebrate Easter. They're like, Mom, we haven't done that in about, like 18 years. I'm like, what are you talking about? You haven't done that since I was here? So finally I've told them, well, that if nobody's going to have Easter, I'm having Easter and you're all coming over to my house. And of course I'm inviting their father and his wife and her family if they want to come. But my girls are like, oh no, Mom, you can't be friends. He's married to someone else. And I'm like, well, yes, I can be friends. I will be friends. This is your father. I love your father. You were made in love. You were conceived in love. I still have love for your father. And that makes my girls, I think, feel more loving. And then I said, look, when I have a special someone or a husband in my life, you better believe he's going to come to our gatherings too. So we better all get used to it right now.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Another friend of mine has kind of the same situation, and she goes, yeah, they were all at a function of their daughters, and she was introducing me to everybody, and she looked at me, she goes, yeah, we put the fun in dysfunctional.
Right. I'm like, where did my girls get the idea that their mother and father can't still be friends? And we've had everything that's been friendly in our separation, divorce, everything. Yeah. We support each other. I think that's the kids learn from the parents.
And I think maybe the most important lesson is just because disagreements happen, just because I don't see things the way you see them, just because things don't work out, doesn't mean that we can't still be civil and hospitable and loving, just loving admiration of each other, just because you don't tie your shoes the same way I tie my shoes. Oh, I don't like you. Or just because you believe in this and I believe in that, I don't like you. There's some type of growth that we can get from being around people that are not like us. Mm-hmm. There's always some sort of growth.
You can always appreciate something of someone. If you look for what you can appreciate, you're going to find it. It's like when you look for anything, you're going to find it. If you look for something you're not going to like about them, you're going to find it. Right?
Absolutely.
And do you believe in karma, James? That reminds me of karma.
I'm not. I do kind of believe in karma, but it's not something I hang my hat on. I have a tendency to lean more toward the scriptural, piece than the karma piece. But I do see things that come back, and I laugh and I say, "Yeah, you had that coming." Sometimes that's me. It comes back to me and I go, oh, you had that coming. But anyway, so, it's so great to be on the show. Because normally I'm behind the big TV over there. And I'm kind of doing it all from over here.
James was a little bit resistant. And so then I kept saying, come on, James, you can do this. We can do this together. You can man the computer and the production equipment with being here and sharing your message. Because I knew that you had a great message.
Well,
and I'm sure this is just one of many.
Let's see. We'll see. So what's next? What's happening in real estate right now?
In real estate, well, I want to share this listing that I have because we just brought the price down about $25,000. It's in East Naples. It's a home that has it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, has a fireplace in it. Like in Florida, like I've had some people come in and say, oh, I don't want a fireplace in Florida. I love fireplaces in Florida. I used to have an electric fireplace when I didn't have a real fireplace. And it does get a little bit chilly here sometimes. So it's nice to have a fireplace. The owner of this house is completely remodeled it. There's still a few things that still need to be done so that the new owner that comes in or the new buyer that comes in can make some changes and make it his own. And there is a tenant living in the back guest house, 1-bedroom, 1-bath guest house with a little sitting area. And so if you want a tenant to pay half your mortgage, if you're going to finance this, he's there. And if you don't, he's agreed to move out and make it so you can have the home all to yourself. It's got a big backyard, room for a pool, no HOA fee, which is huge in Florida here because everywhere you got to be paying for HOA, which is sometimes very expensive. And so it's wonderful because you can also buy this home, rent out the rooms, keep the tenant in the guest house, and have a financial opportunity here too. So this home is there you see the improved price is $499,500. It's at 3954 Coconut Circle North, Naples, Florida. The MLS number is there if you're a realtor, 225-021966. Please reach out to me or reach out to your realtor and let them know you want to see it and get more information about it. And we're here to help you and help to serve you to find the home of your dreams here in Florida.
Well, that's
Yay.
good. That's good stuff right there.
Yes, it is. Now, please, everybody, subscribe to this channel, the Being Tracy Podcast Channel. Also, like this video if you have. If you're still here, I think you've liked it. And share a post beneath. Let us know what questions you have, what you want to know more about, because James and I are here to serve now. We are here to serve and get you the best message. And if you don't feel like you've gotten all of your questions answered, please let us know what we can do, what you want to know more about, because we are here to help you. And share it with someone. If you think of or thought of someone when you're watching this today, please share it with others and let our message get out. And that's going to help us with the YouTube algorithm as well, because we're going to draw some more people to see our video here today.
Can I share with them one more thing before we leave?
Yes, of course.
When I was speaking quite a bit, I used to always end my presentation with this. If I possessed a shop or store, I'd drive the grouches off the floor. I'd never let a gloomy guy offend my guests who come to buy. I'd never let a girl or clerk with mental toothache at my work, nor let someone who takes my pay drive customers of mine away. Because tomorrow, who's to tell? They may have things that I sell, and I'll go, what? Now, you think I forgot. So you're sitting home, you're thinking one of three things. You go, the guy's trying to make a big ending, and it's all messed up, and what a jerk. Or you're thinking, I was a brown leaf in the play when I was in the 4th grade, and I forgot to fall when it was my time to fall. Or you could be thinking, I wish I knew the rest of the poem. No, the reason people pass one door to patronize another store is not because the other place has finer gloves or silks or lace. The reason people, I believe, it's in the treatment that folks receive. So if we continue to just live our lives that way and move forward, and when it's time and someone falls down, if we're there to pick them up and say, I wish I knew how I could help them, then I think the world will be a better place wherever it is that you live.
Well said, James. Thank you so much for being here today and for sharing your valuable message. And we look forward to hearing more from you.
Awesome, everybody.
Bye, guys. Have a great rest of the week. We love you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay.